at home, so I don't think.
Who had surgery today?
Jeff Good.
Can you hear our tiny little puppy? Oh shit. Reader. Anyway, yeah, readers are he's like 190-pound newbie. And he, for whatever reason, whenever we do these recordings, he likes to be a bit more vocal. It's like he knows, which I find very funny. But anyway, so yeah, so with this presentation tonight's on Andorra. We did one of these Zoom presentations last year for Andorra. Last year was our first official trip there. You know, I've been there over 40 times over the last 20 plus years doing CSIA courses. But and it was always a place I wanted to run courses, but last year was the first year that we could bring groups there, and it was okay to do. We'll explain that in a little bit. I'm running this with my buddy Mike here. Mike's one of my best pals. He's on the picture there. That was a sort of candid shot when we were walking back up to the hotel last year. And Mike's he's a level 4 evaluator, and he's a full-time coach at Caledon Ski Club, but he also does a lot of instructor training courses. He's a level 4, like I say, he's a level 3 coach, which is a pretty big deal here in Canada. And he's also got his Big Mountain level 3 certification.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he got that last year, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, so he did that at Whistler, and that's, you know, Mike's been on a bunch of trips with us. He's been to Sunshine several times in Alberta. He's come to Chile. He's Mount St. Anne. Where else? Oh, in Andorra. Yeah, you were in Andorra last year.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know Sandy's been running trips and certification programs for like 23, 25 years. And with my ski trip, he's been running foreign trips a long time. I think Andorra is going to make his 115th foreign trip. Some of the places that he's run trips: Chile, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Japan, as well as all over Canada, and of course Andorra. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to these foreign trips to make them run smoothly. So it's really great that, you know, we've got someone like Sandy with his experience to lead these trips.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so this year's trip to Andorra. Jesus Christ, reader. The dog's running around me. Anyway, it's like having a bear in here. It's pretty anyway. Yeah, we do this trip over our Canadian March break, and that just makes it Can everybody see the humor in this? There we go. Holy crap. Yeah, he's a big boy. Anyway, yeah, we do this over our March break, and that just makes it you know, it's a good option for people that are either in school or that are teachers to come. So this year it's March 13th to 20th, and that's when we're in Andorra. Like I said, this is the second trip that we've been there. It's I always said all my years going there and teaching CSIA certification courses, it would be the absolute best. And like I was spot on with that one. You know, last year, like I was so stoked to run a trip in Andorra. Allie and I, you know, my lovely wife here, we got married in Andorra last year, and that was on the last night of the trip, which was a ton of fun because we'll talk about where we got married and all the stuff that led up to it. So that was, yeah, that was great. Good boy.
All right, so just to give you a little info on Andorra. So Andorra is an independent principality that's between Spain and France. It's quite tiny, so the entire country or principality is just under 500 square kilometers. It's about a 3-hour, 3.5 hour bus ride north of Barcelona. And the languages that they speak there are French, Spanish, and Catalan. But obviously there's going to be a lot of English too. So if you don't know any of those 3 languages, if you start speaking English to people, it's gonna be really easy to communicate or find someone that speaks English.
Yeah, like Andorra for decades has been known as a, a big destination place for the Brits. So it's like, you know, at one point, Soldeo, which is one of the ski schools we'll talk about, they had the biggest English speaking ski school in all of Europe. So yeah, it's very much a English friendly place to be. All the pubs and bars, they're all, you know, Irish and uh British bars. So it's a really, for those of us that don't speak European, it's a really welcoming and comfortable place to go. Okay, so got that? Okay. Yeah, so most of you guys have either been on a trip or done training with us in the past. The stuff that we run, we do like during our season here in Canada, we run training camps 5 days a week, you know, Monday to Friday, from the middle of December right until the end of March. And that's you know, we have anywhere from, you know, 3 to 5 groups of skiers each day. And that's for people that just want ski improvement or are working on their next certification level or just want to have a great time. We've got a really good, you know, core group of people, and we add more people each year. The other side of the stuff that we do is all these training camps that we do away. Like, you know, this year, like I just mentioned earlier, we leave for Chile in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks we leave for Chile. We're there for just over 2 weeks. We do Hintertux in uh, November, the middle of November, the second week in November. We've done Zermatt for years. That's in Switzerland. We do Japan in January. We do Sunshine Village, which is in Banff, in the last week of November and the third week of April. Also new this year, we're doing, well, we're going back to Andorra. We do Mount St. Anne in Quebec. We're doing Levy, Finland this year. So, you know, from my perspective, we're just trying to, you know, with not the expectation that each trip is going to be as big each year, but just to offer more options for destinations for people to go to check out different places. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, and this is a picture just from last year's group. Now you'll see the staff that I brought, they're all wearing those fancy green jackets that say My Ski Trip on it. And there's also an equal amount of instructors there that are wearing the Soldeo ski school suits. And I'll explain why in a few slides coming up. But yeah, last year was our first inaugural trip, I guess you call it there. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you can see like we had some great variety in weather last year. Definitely some snowy days, which brought with a little bit of challenges with the light, but we also saw some great sunshine. Um, you know, the surface was absolutely amazing last year. Very soft, midwinter-like conditions underfoot. And then there's also all the après stuff. So you can see some pictures here with the staff doing some après. Obviously, our clients were with us too. What else we got here, Ali? All right, yeah, some more pictures here of just the skiing and you know, the beautiful vistas that we see in Andorra. And all right, so let's get talking about just the actual resort here. So where we're going in Andorra is the Grand Villar ski area. It's actually a conglomeration of 6 separate villages that pooled together their land and built separate ski resorts that came all together. There's a ton of lifts, and there's actually 5 different valleys. So, you know, it's going to be hard to read the picture here, but just to give you a sense of the scale of this place, like it crosses all the way through 6 different valleys. So there's a lot of different varieties. You can go super high altitude, low altitude, above tree line, below tree line, facing one way, facing another. So lots of opportunity to chase different aspects, different snow conditions, visibilities, and then just go on a full-on adventure, like several valleys over if we want to.
Yeah. Like what this picture doesn't really show you. If you were to fly over Grand Valera in a helicopter,
Yeah, it's
th
sprawls.
think of it almost like a pie plate with like 1/4 of the pie cut out. But the 3/4 of the pie is the entire ski area that wraps around the whole valley that's there.
Yeah. Yeah, it really sprawls.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a big mountain, like it's a huge mountain, but it's as far as it's vertical, it's 930 meters. Now that's I had to do my math with that today. That's over 3,000 feet. Now,
Is that 1.5 tromblons?
yeah, it's like a 1.5 tremblant with another half a tremblant on top of it. That's the vertical drop. And Grand Valera, they hosted the FIS World Championships twice. The last time I think was 2023.
Yeah.
And then the time before that was 1999, I believe.
2019.
2019. Yeah, you're right. 2019.
Nines. Yeah, you got it.
But
Right.
yeah, I mean, they host World Cup GS races there every year. This year they're not because it's an Olympic year, but every year they have World Cup GS races there. And like I say, to have to host a World Cup finals, I mean, they've invested maybe not billions, but hundreds of millions of dollars into the ski area so that they can host it and have it homologated for World Cup racing. So they say the World Cup finals, that's slalom, giant slalom, super G, downhill, combined for men and women, and that's where they have the finals. And they're having another World Cup finals there in a couple of years. I'm not exactly sure what year, but it's within the next 3 or 4 years.
That infrastructure investment, it really guarantees, like even on the thinnest years, there's going to be some really cool terrain to ski on. Even in the worst conditions, there's going to be great coverage.
Yeah, so you see they've got tons of snow cannons there. Snow's never an issue there. I mean, I've got videos. Those of you guys that are friends of mine on Facebook, or just go look at my Facebook page. There's a video clip from a few years ago when we had one of the biggest powder days I've ever experienced in my life, and it was just amazing. Andorra is also known for having, I think the country of Andorra, they average something, or they boast about having more than 300 sunny days a year. Now that's obviously in the summer as well. But in the winter, they do get huge storms. Like there's days where we've been there when it's been, nice groomed snow, and then you go to bed that night, you wake up the next morning and there's literally 3 or 3.5 feet of snow. It's amazing how much snow they can get. You okay there, Ali? Sorry, guys. Yeah. So as far as the ski resorts that we visit, so this is Soldeo, and that's the sort of one that's in the middle. That's the one where I spent all my time there, based out of to run all the CSA courses for all the years I've been there. And that's where we stay. And it's Soldeo's, it's got a nice little village, lots of restaurants, a whole bunch of really nice bars, great skiing, great variety. It's got my favorite run there, Cabarol. And what are you supposed to do there, Mike, when I'm done?
I think that's where you get spread, isn't it?
My ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ashes, he means I get spread there. I love that run. And then right beside Soldeo, there's another another ski area called El Tartar or El Tartare. And it's a bit wider. It's a lot more above tree line skiing there, as you can see there. But it's huge. Like when I say, I can't express how much terrain is there to ski. It's massive.
And then beyond El Tartar and sort of around the back of Soldeo is Grau Rauch. It's actually a valley. There's not really a village down there. There's a little bit of hospitality stuff, but it's just a big valley with a lot of ski options. So lifts go up either side in opposite directions, and that gives us opportunity to ski facing away or towards the sun, as well as lots of different options for.
They also have a speed skiing run there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, speed
And
skiing.
for those of you that don't know, Mike, you did speed skiing after Andorra last year.
Yep.
Mike went to France,
Yep.
right? And explain what you did.
Yeah, so it was the FIS World Cup of speed skiing. I took some juniors from Caledon Ski Club to compete in the World Juniors, And while we were there was actually a senior category, so I jumped in on it too. And I had one junior, he came second, so he's the second fastest junior in the world. He went 169 kilometers an hour, and I squeaked in just behind him at 167. Anyway, so in Grau Rouge, they have this run that they run World Cup speed skiing on. So, you know, they've got some really steep stuff. They've also got a lot of really great moderate groomers and some absolutely breathtaking vistas. That restaurant, what's the restaurant?
Paratol.
No,
The Paratol's in Grau. But
Lac de Pessons.
Oh, Pessons,
yeah.
sorry, Pessons.
Lac de Pessons has amazing patio and amazing views on a sunny day in Grau Rouge. So just on the other side, farthest away from where we stay, is Passe la Casa. So this is actually the highest altitude part. It's the part closest to France. So down in the village, they speak mostly French. There's great restaurant options, some nightlife down there, great duty-free shopping, and obviously, you know, some really good skiing. The higher altitude, often we can find some great midwinter snow, even when the temperatures start to get a little bit higher. And then for après, you can actually take the bus out to Passe la Casa. I think Sandy will talk about that later.
Yeah. And then the two other areas is N Camp, which is it's the furthest down the valley. It's closest to Spain. They do have a gondola that takes people up to the top of Grau. So it's a very family friendly. It's you know, we don't spend much time skiing there, but we do ski at this one here called Canillo, and that's over the backside of Tartare. And it like that, you see that one run there, like you know, there's more than that one run, but that one run is amazing. It's just so long and it rolls, there's steeps and there's banks and there's a whole nother ski area sort of off to the side and the back. So that's a great ski area that's there as well. Yeah. So as far as, you know, the whole sort of product of the camps we run is the training. Now I mentioned earlier that you know, we sort of partnered with the Soldeo Ski School because for me to be able to run ski trips in Soldeo, I have to have a Soldeo instructor with each one of our coaches for the whole day. Now, having been there so many times, I've got so many of my closest friends there, and that's all these guys and girls that accompanied each of the instructors. And the nice thing about having them there is helps us with things like getting through the lift lines quickly, helps us with you know, choosing to go to different restaurants. They know better, you know, because they're locals. They know better than we would coming in what the best restaurant would to go to on a Tuesday as opposed to a Thursday. So that just made it really good. And they were just like amazing people and so much fun to have around. You guys all know Allie Hunter, Coach Allie. She was with us last year and she skied with a dear friend of ours, Adele, and they quickly became like fast friends. They talk all the time on the phone now, which is great. I think it's great. And Adele's from Wales, so pretty interesting. She's Welsh and she lives in Andorra. Interesting combination. So as far as what to expect for those of you guys that have skied with me or us or any of the coaches before, the whole purpose, it's not like taking a ski certification course 20 years ago where there's a lot of information, a lot of talking, a lot of standing around getting told what you're doing wrong, what you need to do. It's about skiing as much area as you can, skiing as much as you can, and building on successes rather than focusing on what people are doing wrong. We think we do a pretty good job. Like my return rate for clients is almost 100%, you know, save for a few that have aged out or maybe stopped skiing for personal reasons. But, you know, I know on this call, I've got people that have been on, like, I don't know if Jim McElroy on this call right now? Yeah, Jim, say hi. You there? Oh, she muted everybody. Never mind. You know, Jim's come on. Jim's one of my favorite clients. He comes everywhere. Like he's come to he's came to Canada. He came to Mount St. Anne. He's come to Sunshine a whole bunch of times. He's come to Chile a bunch of times. Hintertux. He's coming to Japan. And he's just a great guy to have around and makes everybody he's a very funny guy too. So yeah, he's one of the, one of my favorite people to have around. And we try to cater the training towards what each person needs, obviously. The way that I run my camps is that if you start with a coach on day one, you're with that coach for the whole week. Now, that's not carved in stone because there are times when, there's player trades made, or maybe some person wants to ski with their buddy who's in another group, and that's fine. So it's not galvanized rule, but it's something that we try to keep, because I find that if I can ski with the same group for 6 days in a row, I can get way more improvement out of them rather than changing from, there's other players in the market that do this, and I get that. And you'll ski with a different coach every day. And I just don't think that's a great way to build, a rapport, trust, or improvement out of the whole week, right? Okay. Yeah, so obviously we do small. Is that me last year? Yeah, it's me last year with the group. The groups are quite small, 3, maybe 6 people. Mike, I mean, last year you had.
I had between 1 and 3, depending on the weather and people's energy levels.
Yeah. So the whole idea is that, like, I know the trips aren't cheap, but it's because the groups aren't very big. And we do the groups not very big just so that everybody gets enough direct one-on-one input, direction. We do video every day as well. And, the videos, we do them, I think Mike's going to talk about this later, but like I videotape every day at least 2 runs, and I send those videos out to the participants in my group as soon as I get off the snow. Not just the video clips that I sent, but as I videotape them, I'm narrating the video as to what they're doing right, maybe what opportunities there are to make adjustments to make it better. And I include that in the email that I send them.
Yeah. So I guess that's actually a good time to talk about what a typical day looks like, Sandy. So the lifts, they all start spinning at 9. And, the Andorra isn't super busy except maybe on the occasional Saturday afternoon. But we do want to still avoid the crowd so that we can maximize everyone's time on snow. So what we do is we actually meet at 8:30 in the lobby of the hotel. That way we can all get together, make sure that no one's forgotten anything, or we haven't forgotten anyone in particular. And that gets us to the very front of the gondola line so that when it spins at 9, we're at the front of the line ready to go. Typically the morning will last until 11:30. If we go in at 11:30, we beat the rush for lunch. And that might be over in Paso La Casa or out over in El Tartar. We decide as a group, what do we want from our lunch? How much food do we want? What kind of food do we want? Where do we want to eat it? But typically we try to do that at 11:30 so that we beat the rush. In the afternoon, if we haven't already gotten video, that's when we'll get that video. Typically the sun's shining a little bit better in the afternoon. We'll get really nice bright video. And then in the afternoon, we can also share it via WhatsApp, or we can do the Apple, what is it? The iShare AirDrop. Yeah, there you go. I'm an Android user.
I'm old school. I still videotape and email.
Yeah. Well, that works too. You can get use a big video camera, and that you get good video that way. And then we finish around 2:30. That gives us a chance to either have a cool down run with people from other groups, or squeeze an extra run in with another coach. Or you can, start your après nice and early while the sun's still shining. Typically, we're finding most people are starting to run out of gas around then anyways.
But then you have people like Lewis who skied till
the last,
it was
last
dark out. Yeah.
And you know what? Fair play. That gives you a little bit of independent time too after 2:30. Yeah. I think Ali had the other slide too. So one of the things that is important to mention is there's optional lockers. The locker room is actually up at the top, which means that you don't have to load with all your stuff. You can leave the hotel just in your street shoes. You don't have to carry your helmet, boots, poles, skis, all that stuff. It can be already ready for you, dry in the lockers, waiting for you. The lockers fit 3 to 4 people, and You don't need to share a key or anything because your lift pass will open the locker. It's super high tech. It's a nice temperature controlled locker room. There's washrooms there, so you can get booted up at the top in the mornings in a nice dry area and
Yeah,
show up ready to go.
There are lockers that come with the hotel rooms that are at the bottom. But then you know
Seems more hassle than
it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit. I mean, it was like for 4 people in a locker, it costs like 25 euros each for the week.
yeah.
I mean, that's something that is an option for people that are coming if they want to do. I thought it was totally worth it.
Yeah, it was a total game changer for us.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as the travel to get there, we asked people to get to Barcelona. That's, you know, obviously flights aren't included in the trips that we run because years ago I used to run trips that included travel, but very shortly at like the second or third year, I mean, so many, that was when miles were everything, and people wanting to take to get a discount on a flight, you had to have at least 18 people. And I mean, it was nice and it was a bit of a discount, but not that much. But so many people use their air miles or they come from different destinations, or they come early or they stay late. We just ask everybody to meet us at the Barcelona airport around 10 a.m. between 10 o'clock and noon. There's people that arrive at 6 in the morning. There's people that arrive at last year, I think the latest was just after 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like 12.
Yeah, so we, you know,
we saw them.
we congregate, you know, right at arrivals in Barcelona, not the domestic, the international arrivals. There's a Starbucks right there that we all meet. We sort of sit and gather and, you know, get to meet each other for the first time or say hi again for people who we haven't seen in a while. And then I have a private shuttle bus that I book. It's a proper like gray coach or whatever, huge bus. And it's big. It's got, you know, like last year we had 40 something people and that fit everybody. There's a bathroom on the bus, which, you know, makes it easy for people that don't have, I mean, it's not a huge bathroom, but it's a bathroom. And then then we take the shuttle right to the hotel where we stay at, and like Mike said earlier, it takes about 3 hours or so. And when we leave, we just ask people to book their flights from 11 o'clock on Friday, what is it, the 18th? It's covered up. Friday the 20th, sorry.
Yeah, that's what time we get to the airport is 11.
Yeah, we get to the airport at 11. So, you know, because flights typically, you know, for the ones that we book back to North America, fly out sometime in the afternoon, like 2:30 to 4 o'clock kind of thing. And if you're coming from the UK, then I mean those flights run like every, you know, a few times a day kind of thing.
All right, so we'll just go over some of the amenities and the accommodation here. So we're going to be staying in the Sport Hotel. This is it here. The Sport is part of a group of hotels all owned by the same family, the Calvo family. So we're in this one, the Sport Hotel. It's a European 4-star. You can see here's the entrance area. And actually, this picture here is taken from the top of the gondola base station. So we actually just come out that front door, walk down the sidewalk a little bit, cross the road, and we're right there at the gondola. All right, and then this is the front lobby. So you can see in sort of the background there, that's the front lobby. The steps on the left, that's where we walk up to breakfast, and then the door over on the right, that's out to the street. And there's lots of different sitting areas and places we can do socials. You know, this is in the hotel bar. The accommodations are just like what you would expect from a 4-star hotel. There's full bathrooms with everything you need, blow dryers, quite nice hotels, very comfortable beds.
Blow dryers.
You have access to yeah, like hair dryers.
I don't know, use them.
And you also have access to the wellness spa that's in one of the other hotels owned by the Calvo family. That's the Sport Hermitage. So it's a European 5-star hotel. It's like the most fancy thing you can imagine. So the spa there, we have access to that. We've got access to the pools, health club, um, all that stuff. And it's going to be a little bit, I think there's an added charge for some of the health spa stuff. Ali, it's about the same cost as like going to a nice spa here in Canada. So here you can see a photo of some of the hot tubs available over at the Sport Hermitage. And then the other hotel that that the Cowboys own is the Sport Village, and that's where actually we have dinner.
Yeah. So yeah, the food and drink, I mean, it's so good and so plentiful. Like Mike just mentioned, there's the Sport Village, which is across the street on the side of the gondola, and the Sport Hermitage, which is the fancy one just up the hill a little bit. Yeah, these are pictures here from some dinners from last year. Like the place is massive. It's like think about Mandarin on steroids. You guys know the Mandarin? It's like being on a cruise ship, Ali says. I've never been on a cruise ship. Anyway, yeah, like they have pasta stations, meat stations, dessert stations, cheese stations. What else? Salad bar. Like there's every possible thing that you can think of, and you order your booze a la carte there if you want to order wine or whatever else. But yeah, the food is all included, and then also in the mornings when we have our breakfast. The breakfasts are done like there's that slide a few slides ago where Mike was talking about the reception desk, and there's stairs there that went up, and that goes into the restaurant at the Sport, and they have a huge spread for us for breakfast and everything you can imagine for breakfast there. There's rows and rows of buffet things to get. You can get eggs made whatever way you want. And breakfast starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's when we're there. We're there right at the beginning. That way, because that gives us like a full hour and a half to eat breakfast, to go back to our rooms, get changed, and then meet down in the lobby for 8:30. Dinners are done a little bit later than, I mean, it's Europe. They do dinners a little bit later. So 7 o'clock is the first time that we can sit down and get into the restaurant to have our dinner. There's all sorts of places to get snacks and bites to eat, for those of us that are, peckish or want a little bit something to eat. There's several, well, two grocery stores right in Soldeo. So, those of you that want to buy anything from beer to juice or crackers or granola bars, there's all sorts of options there. So it's not just what you get given to you at the dinners. Yeah, so this is in the hotel bar. Like just you see there's Mike and there's Ali there and Chris, and just behind Chris's head there, that's the lobby. So there is a really nice bar right in the hotel that we stay in. Yeah, and as far as lunches go, like Mike was saying earlier, there's so many options. Like you never have to eat lunch in the same place. I mean, you could stay there for, you know, 3 weeks and you wouldn't be able to visit all the restaurants on the mountain. But yeah, there's, options at every different mountain. There's cheaper options, like just simple cafeteria food, but there's also really, really nice options to get really good, and like everything from pasta to pizza to burgers to sandwiches to
Yeah.
soups, like anything. And they literally accommodate everybody that's got food preferences, whether it's vegetarianism or like Ali has what do you call it? Gluten. She's not allowed to have gluten. I always forget. What's it called? Celiac. She has celiac condition. Anyway, and then après activities, which is, kind of the funnest part for me going to Andorra. Typically when we get there, like, I always look, last year I was like, chomping on the bit to get there because it was, 5 years since I'd been there. I spent so many days of my life skiing there, and I was so like my heart was melting as we were pulling in because I was, I listed my home resort on my CSIA profile for like 20 years as Soldeo in Andorra. And I remember Mark Tan, the guy that was sort of man behind the CSI, is like, Sandy, why do you put your why is it Andorra? I'm like, because I ski more days there than anywhere else. I actually have a plaque over here that our friend made me. This lady, this Scottish lady, Lisa, we call her Mad Lisa. She's a chef, and she also does wood carvings with a chainsaw. And she did one for me, and it says Sandora. So that's just over here. I should have brought it up, but anyway, yeah. So typically we get there. The first trip that everybody does is we go down to the pub and we have a beer or a cava. Is that what it's called? Yeah, cava, like a little sort of fake champagne thing. Um, yeah, it's just a very, very social place. There's uh three main bars that are right in Andorra. There's
In
actually,
Soldeo, yeah.
sorry, in Soldeo. There's actually three or four of them. There's, what are you doing there, Allie? There we go. Yeah, so there's that's our first night there last year. So this bar here is called the Aspen. It's a sort of quite big one. Just up the road, there's one called the Harp. That's an Irish pub. It's a bit smaller, but and they have music at all these places every night. Last year I told you we got, there's also Fat Albert's, that's one that's a bar up top and it's a really nice restaurant down below. That's where we got married last year, which was fantastic, I'm supposed to say. And after we were done at Fat Albert's, we went back down to the Heart and we walked in and I remember they were playing that song by the Cranberries. What's it called? I forget. Anyway, a Cranberry song, and the singer in the bar was singing it. She sounded just like the band. Like, oh, here's the married couple. Like it was just like being home. It was amazing, and that's the whole vibe of Andorra. Like just I remember when the wedding speeches, and Sam, my friend Sam, who runs the ski school in Andorra, he's the guy that I reached out to say, or actually he reached out to me and says, "Hey, Sandy, you still want to run a trip here?" I said, "Yeah." And he stood up and did a speech last year saying, you guys are all our family now. Now that you've been here, you're one of us. It was amazing. Like
Very cool.
really good. Yeah, really cool. So here's the nuts and bolts of the trip. Yeah, so in Canadian dollars, it's 4,500 bucks for sharing a room. That's if you have a partner or a buddy or a girlfriend you want to stay with. 5,500 if you're having your own room, and that's just the cost of the hotel that they add on to me. So I'm not making any markup there. I actually lose a little bit because it's even a little bit more than that. Plus HST, and for those of you that are from the States or from somewhere else, HST is the harmonized sales tax, which is what I have to charge as a business operator in Ontario. And that's 13%, unfortunately. But if you pay by August the 1st, then there's a 10% discount. And the reason I can do that is because the hotel, based on when I pay, gives me a little bit of a discount. I think it's August 10th is the big discount date that I have to have money in for them. For that, it covers all the accommodation, the coaching every day, the breakfasts, the dinners, all the ground transportation. Doesn't include flight, doesn't include the posh lockers up top, doesn't include booze or anything you're going to get like that. And if you don't have an icon pass, then it doesn't include the lift tickets, but that's about $500 to $600 Canadian for the week, which is really reasonable when you look at how much lift tickets can cost in like the States right now, or even here, like just across, like right at Blue Mountain right here. And if you just walk up and buy a lift ticket, it's like $130 or something like that. Like it's like quite a bit of money. Europe, very reasonable comparatively, yeah. Last thing I just want to mention is new this year is trip insurance. Last year we had two couples that had to pull out very last minute. Illness was what the reason why. But like I'm talking like the week before they had to pull out. That's one couple. And they said, "Well, can we get a refund?" I said, "Well, I'll give you back what I can get back, but it's all dependent on what the hotel will give me. Obviously you don't have to pay for lift tickets, or I gave them back the money for the ground transportation, but the hotel is obviously the big one. So I couldn't reclaim that. As far as what's available now, Bennett Carter, who a lot of us know, he's one of my staff. He's Ali's husband. And he's an insurance broker and an investment guy. And he got to put together a package for me if you're Canadian. Doesn't work for, Americans or anybody from the UK or Europe, but you can get cancellation insurance, trip interruption insurance, and all the medical insurance that you might need. The big one is the cancellation insurance. The only stipulation with that is you have to buy that insurance within 5 days of paying for your trip. Otherwise, it doesn't count, right? And as far as how much that costs, like for me to get, I have a year-round package, so like multiple trips, and it costs me about $570 Canadian for all the year round. I think for one trip, it would be, depending on your age and some other things, it's anywhere from like 350 to $500. So, but it's an option now, whereas before it wasn't an option. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah. Okay. Is
All
there
right.
anything else you wanted to add?
Nothing off the top of my head. Let's open up the floor here for some questions or discussion.
You have people off mute?
Oh, we got
Jerry.
He's looking for a question there. He's on mute though, Allison.
Say something, Jerry. Hold on, Jerry.
You should be able to unmute you.
Jerry, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
I can't hear him. Say something, Jerry.
Hmm.
I can't hear him, man.
All right, so Jerry, maybe you can type your question in the chat and we'll be able to help you there.
Alex, can we hear you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, we can hear Alex.
I can vouch for the amazing trip last year.
Yeah, Alex was
Good.
there last year. Comrade. What was your favorite part of the trip last year, Alex?
Obviously the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The weather didn't allow us to relax. There was either too much snow or some thick clouds sitting there. But those moments when the weather was perfect, it was just amazing. Nothing to compare.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like Alex, we skied together last year and we were pretty lucky because I sort of I could look at the weather for each place and know where to go. So our group, I think we had we lucked out with a bunch of that. But yeah, it's and like he says the bar now, it's not a mandatory thing to go there and get overserved a lot. But like, man, is it ever a social place? Like everybody
Yeah.
together, having fun, laughing. Like, yeah, that like for me, he's been doing like well over 100 of these trips, always wanting to do one in Andorra. That was like I was full of pride and so happy that we could do it there. And I knew it was going to go well. I had no idea how well it was going to go. It went so well.
Yeah, and the extra coaches that we have from the Soldeo Snow School, we're gonna see them down in the Après too. So it kind of it's like another way to get sort of linked into the social scene there and really create sort of an inviting environment. You walk into the Aspen, for example, and you're gonna see those Soldeo coaches there at the bar inviting you in. So it's like having local hosts, not just on the hill.
Can you guarantee the wedding again next year?
I beg your pardon? Oh yeah, I guarantee the win. Yeah,
It
100%.
was a highlight of the trip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no way to guarantee the weather, but the averages are like it's a sunny place. That I've been 8 times, and that was the only time of 8 where I had more than one cloudy day. There was one trip where I went for 26 days, and I think I saw one cloud in those 26 days. So, Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get, but typically it's a very,
It's-
very sunny.
I mean, it's in the mountains, so it is what
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, like that solid, Andorra, Grand Valera, they pride themselves on having a ton of sunny days all year. That's why it's a very, very popular destination place for particularly British. But now I mean, Alex, you were there. There's a lot of Russians there. What's the other Irish people? Yeah, like from all over Europe. Germans now,
Yep.
very popular.
A lot
So
of Spaniards.
yeah.
Listen, it's going to be next year. It's going to be your first anniversary. Are we going to be celebrating there?
Yeah.
Your and Allison anniversary?
Yeah, of course. Can't wait.
Okay.
Everybody says, "What's it like being married?" I'm like, it's amazing. Yeah, like food tastes better, flowers smell better, colors are more vibrant. It's the exact same.
Allison, did we get Jerry's question in the chat?
No, see if you can try again.
Yeah, Jerry, do you want to try your mic again?
No, it's not
he's
working.
waving no. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
One of us will follow up with you, Jerry, make sure that all your questions are answered. Anyone else got any questions?
Hey, Sandy, Chris O'Kane here. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just one of the things to talk about as well. Alex mentioned the conditions that we had out there, and we definitely had all mountain conditions. And I think it can be difficult for a lot of us who ski in Ontario, jumping into some all mountain conditions. But that's absolutely one of the experiences about going out to Europe and getting to ski. And one of the fantastic things that Sandy has the arrangement with is skiing with those Soldeo ski instructors. And those folks are absolute pros. They know every nook and cranny of that mountain. And when the weather turns, they know where to go. They know where to take you to higher elevation when the snow is thick and heavy. We go to higher elevation. We can tuck in between the trees when the visibility does get low. And skiing with the coaches too. I know we talked about it as well in Après as we would debrief the coaches about if you were out there on your own without a coach, without a level 4 helping you out, giving you tips for these conditions on the day that you're skiing in the shape that you're skiing in, you'll probably have a lot harder of a time and you wouldn't enjoy yourself as much. So we did face some challenging conditions, but I saw smiles in every group on all days. So I think, remembering that when you're skiing in a big mountain, there's going to be weather, but having professionals with you, both from Soldeo and from Sandy's staff, you're gonna have an amazing day. And I do have Sandy. I'll share with you. I don't know if you want me to share my screen and pull them up, but I have 2 videos that I think are pretty fun and cool. The FIS slalom run that you were talking about. I've got a video that Ali Hunter took of Mike Schneider and I skiing down the front of it, right down into there's a big deck right at the bottom of that hill, and the sun beats down on it. There's music playing in a bar there. And then I also have a time-lapse video of us skiing to Lac Passons, the restaurant that Mike was talking about, which is halfway down the mountain. There's a mid-mountain lake that this little restaurant looks over, and it's gorgeous.
She says, "Give it a try." Is that something that Chris does?
They don't have that, yeah.
Which I have to find where the screen share button is if I can do it.
Better not be X-rated, Chris.
Request has been sent.
All right. Should be approved.
Am I
Chris.
watching it? I can't. No.
And by.
Does it come in this one?
I think so.
I'm getting lots of things here.
Oh, Jerry wants to know, does trip insurance include helicopter evacuation coverage? So repeat the question and ask, and then you hear it from them. Or do you have to get back to him?
How close are you to getting this going, Chris? Oh, something's happening.
Am I sharing?
Something's
Yeah.
happening. Oh,
You
geez,
guys can
Chris,
see that?
close some of those tabs. Oh boy. Oh.
All right, so here's from the top of the slalom run. I'm gonna mute the video on that. Let's see if this plays through.
Mm-mm.
Mm. No? All right.
There you go. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so this is
It's
the
clicking.
bottom of this is the bottom of the World Cup slalom run. You can see right at the bottom there, that's like the finish area. And that finish area is actually a giant ramp that goes over a river that used to just be like one groomer width wide, that bridge. And they widened it to like whatever that is, like 60, 80 meters. It was crazy that they did this so they could have enough length to run a men's GS there for the World Cup.
Yeah.
This one's not playing, but we'll see if I can get a ride to pass on here. So this was a gorgeous sunny day here.
Oh,
Again, it's just time lapse to ski it down here.
Oh, faster skiing. Yeah, neat. Yeah,
Again,
that's
beautiful, beautiful scenery. Again, it's a quick one here, but beautiful scenery. You can see the mountains are just endless here. It was absolutely breathtaking the whole time we were there.
Yeah. Yeah, this starts to give you a little bit of scope as to how big this place actually is. It's just massive.
Yeah, that's just a tiny fragment of Grau Rausch.
So guys, we have a couple of questions about, do you take your own skis or rent? And what types of skis would you consider bringing?
Okay, do you take your own skis or rent? You can do either. We had several. I think Jim. I don't know if Jim is on here. I think he did he rent last year?
Trish did, renting.
Trish. Oh yeah. I mean, you can rent skis there. You can get fatter skis for powder, or you can just bring your own ski boots, which I would highly recommend, and just rent skis there for the entire week. They do have a sizable rental fleet. What was the other question?
What type of skis?
Oh, what type of skis? Yeah, that's a bit of an open-ended question. I always bring like a mid-fat ski for myself, like a 97 to 99 millimeter underfoot in case we get a snow day. But I also bring like a Masters giant slalom ski, which is sort of my go-to ski, or slalom ski. What I mean, like I say, there's so much stuff there, and you know, if there is a big snow day, rent a pair, no big deal. What was the other one? Was that it?
Yeah, Chris, what type of skis did you bring?
I skied on my 13-meter slalom skis, and I had a phenomenal time. And the Soldeo guy who's with me, John, he told me as well, at Soldeo, they really love their piste skiing. So even after we had that big snow dumping the one day, it was groomed out the next day. So if you are staying on piste, they generally have it groomed very well.
Yeah, they're really good with the grooming there. Yeah, I brought a slalom ski and I brought sort of like a mid-fat, I think it was a 19-meter, 80 millimeter underfoot ski for those softer days. But we actually got quite the dump. Maybe it was better off if I took something like Sandy did with like a 99 mil underfoot. But yeah, I think if you've got one pair of skis, that's what do you think? Those Masters GS or your one go-to pair is probably fine.
The right answer is whatever you're comfortable with skiing on. You know, that some people are like, we have a couple people coming to Chile this summer, And they're like, well, I'm just going to bring my one ski. It's a 102 underfoot. I'm like, all right, like if that's what you like to ski on all the time, great. I mean, but yeah, so yeah, whatever the right answer is, whatever you're comfortable with. The backup answer to that is there's other options there to rent. Yeah. Any other questions, Al? John O'Kane, did you want to say something?
Yeah, made my first trip to Andorra earlier this year. I'd love to go back. Don't know if we'll be able to do it this spring, but for me, the highlight of the trip was getting to ski in a country where skiing is a really part of the culture. So that was really cool to experience that, to see that. And second highlight, of course, was the wedding. Great way to end the trip with everyone that we got to know over the course of the week. So it was an outstanding trip. Highly recommend it to anyone and everyone.
Yeah, thanks for that, John.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, you know, the wedding, like until I find somebody else, I'm not going to get married there again. Right? No, but it was, I mean, it was the right place to do it. Actually, Allison and I, we got married legally here in Ontario. And we did it 1 month before on February 13th, I think. And we did it like Allison, you know, here we're just right behind us is Blue Mountain. For those of you that aren't from here, and they have pavilions at the top. And Allison looked into doing a wedding there, and she's talking to me on the phone. She said, "Oh yeah, I checked it out. It's going to be like 50 grand or 60 grand." I'm like, $1,000, and I'm like, forget it. We don't even need to get married. He's like, well, we got to do it somewhere. And I said, well, she says, where do you want to do it then? And I was getting a tea in the Tim Hortons drive-through, coffee shop drive-through. So it doesn't matter. We can get married in Tim Hortons drive-through for all I care. And that's what we did. We got married there. And actually, rather than spending $60,000, we made $100. They gave us a gift card. How many people?
Tim Hortons,
Yeah, how many people make money when they get married? This guy.
That's great. Any last questions, guys, before we wrap up and end the call?
Yeah, how much? Hi, Sandy, it's Lily.
Hi, Lily.
Just a quick question. I know Mike is been skiing in Whistler a lot. So how the terrain compared to Whistler in terms of steepness and the off-piste?
There's everything there. There's every possible, like, you know, is it comparable to Whistler? It's better than Whistler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would say that there's less off-piste, like couloir-y, like extreme stuff
Okay.
than Whistler. But as far as everything else,
there's some great vast terrain there. Like when you go up Tartar, those shoots off the right side,
totally.
You know, Cabarol and the runs. There's so much there. They've got great bumps there for those of you that want to work on your bump skiing. And
yeah, that's my second question. Who is
it's
teaching
it's
bumps?
way less busy than Whistler.
Who is teaching bumps in the camps? I like to learn how to ski bumps and off-piste. That's where I need to improve on.
Yeah, all of us can teach bumps. You know, when we're putting the groups together, that's good info to know, Lily, that's something that you want to learn. We just make sure that we'll put you in a group that wants to do that.
Yeah, and as far as staff this year, like you're not available, right?
Probably not.
Mike's probably not available. Mike did a great job last year. But yeah, there's, you know, Chris, I think, is on board to come back. Chris or Casey Bowius, Steve Young this year, Ali Hunter, of course. Rick Cook.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm still alive. Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is it's a great time to go. And, you know, the staff, would you say you get compensated fairly with your accommodations and your everything else?
Yeah, Sandy can attract the best staff because it's a great trip. So he has the pick of the litter. You're going to get the best staff available in the country.
Plus, because I'm adorable.
Yeah.
believe that's so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all my question. Thanks.
Thank you. Mark Sutherland, good to see you on here. I don't know if you have a question, but it's been a long time since we've skied together. Yeah. Okay, does anybody else have any, we like to keep these things to about an hour, so it's been that time. Does anybody have any parting questions or comments? No? Okay, well, with that, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
you. We
Thanks.
record these sessions. We just did one for Intertux a few weeks ago. That one's been recorded and ready to go. So we'll get that one out this week, and also this one here as well. So thanks everybody for coming, spending the time, the hour. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Stay
night.
cool this week, guys.
you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.